there.
Ooh, good job.
Okay, so now, thank you. I'm a little older too, so talk about technology for me is just a whole other thing. But Mary is a singer-songwriter. Hi, by the way, I'm Deb. Nice to
Hi,
meet you.
Deb.
I started Queerstrology some years ago so I could take the gender binary out of astrology because nobody was doing it on purpose. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll do it. Um, but let's learn more about Mary. So she's a singer-songwriter. She was on Same Love with Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. It's probably where you first maybe heard her. But she's since released 3 albums, although we haven't heard from her in a moment. But there's a new single out, okay? And this single it's what we need right now, okay? It's about body autonomy and that sort of thing, but mostly just like the world and how crazy it is right now and how everybody thinks they can control all of the things you do, even your own body, right?
Yeah.
So make sure you all go and check out The Tempest, okay? That's the name of the single. Make sure you go check that out. And there's also two poetry books that you have out as well, right?
Just one.
Just one? Okay.
Yes.
So there's one.
This wasn't on purpose, but it's right here.
Oh, there you go. See, it just so
This
happens.
one here?
Yeah. Because you, by the way, we're going to talk a little bit about the fact that we both graduated from Cornish. So we'll get to that in a moment. But that's so interesting. So at Cornish is a small art school. I was there for design. So like fine art design. I have a bachelor's in fine art, but I was in the design department, right? And you only graduated, I think, 6 years after I did. So not too bad, not too far away. Was it still just the old original building and then the one down by the cathedral that was there when you were there, or did they have new ones?
Yeah, and I was mostly at the older building that had
that's where the music was, and I was in the building by the cathedral because that's where the design mostly was, right?
We don't fraternize.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, never. Except for graduation when everybody does their weird things that they all do. We put CDs around our professor because that's how long ago it was. And did you graduate in the cathedral as well?
Yeah. Where did we have graduation? I feel like we had it. Where was graduation ceremony?
Yeah.
It was at Benaroya Hall, I think.
Oh, wow. I mean, we graduated in the cathedral. That was right in that same parking lot there.
Oh, beautiful.
So that was pretty cool. Yeah. And there's a few other, like Jinx Monsoon. She graduated from Cornish. Brendan Fraser, folks. Brendan Fraser's from Cornish. It's a art college up in Seattle. But sorry for that. I know we're here to learn more about Mary's astrology, okay? But I had to.
I think also the people that come out of there, I feel like find ways to meld their work into other work. Like, I mean, I feel like it's a very you figure out what you want to do, like a very experimental school to go to, I feel like.
Absolutely. I mean, I got my degree and then I was mostly marketing instead of graphic design for architecture and engineering firms for a long time, for more than 20 years. That's what I did. And then I was like, well, I would like to make money for myself and not make all these people money. Yeah. But it helped me because I learned how to take complicated info and visually teach it to others. So that's also what Queerstrology is about. So as we go through your chart here, I'm going to explain what each of these things that we're looking at here means, and then we'll go into it, okay?
Okay.
So out here on the outside edge, and I will zoom in when I get to the sections of Mary's chart, but just now so we can see all of it, okay? So out here on the outside edge are all 12 signs, all right? Everybody has that, okay? It's just where they land depends on where your rising sign is, okay? But they're always in the same order, and they represent the personality, like what we think about when we think about astrology, right? And you're a Taurus, so I'm sure you have, what do you describe a Taurus as?
Like steadfast and stubborn and strong-willed. I will. Yeah. You don't get to decide when you break up with me. I will decide when we break up.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
But that might be more about your Taurus Venus, which is still Taurus. So
Oh.
that's interesting. But we can talk about all that. You can ask me whatever questions because I know you'll have some about some of it. But uh, and then right here in the middle, we have it's numbered 1 through 12. It also goes counterclockwise. These are the houses. So they represent a part of your life, like the playing field of something. Okay. And then we have the placements, which are these little, those little, what do you call them? Why can't I think of the word? Like not
Icon.
emoji, but yeah, like an icon or whatever. Yeah. Uh, they represent the planets in some case, luminary like the sun and the moon as well. And those have a focus that they bring. And where they land is the focus of that sign, the personality of that sign will be added to it. And where it'll mostly affect your life is the house that it's in.
Okay.
Okay. And then we're probably not going to talk about these in the middle. You and I can do that later if you want, or I can give you a write out of it. But these are aspects, and what they do is they show us the relationship between your different focuses, what's working together, what is struggling to work together, things like that. Okay.
Cool.
So
Cool.
we're going to walk through pretty much most of that. But the major thing is astrology is not telling you have to do something or you can't do something. It's helping you to get validation, and it's helping you learn where to put your intentions and try to be more positive with your intentions rather than saying, I don't want this. It's what you do want, right? And things that might be easy to accomplish that way. So, that being said, let's go ahead and let's go into the first part here. Okay. So, this is the first three houses. You can see them here 1, 2, and 3. And right here, as everybody has it, right here is where Placidius, by the way, anybody who's going to ask Western tropical Placidius, there's different kinds of astrology.
Classic.
And I use the one that's most commonly used
Okay.
by astrologers and more modern. It resonates with me. But if a different kind resonates with you all, that's fine. Lots of the principles are the same for the most part. So that being said, everybody starts right here, and ASC stands for ascendant or rising sign. It's literally where your chart starts. But why? Like, how do we know that? What's that, right? Well, these signs are represented by constellations in the sky. And there's 88 total, but these 12 happen to be in this path that's the backdrop for where the planets go across the sky. Okay. So we rotate, they don't move. Okay. And so that's why we have this, and it has about a 23-degree range that it'll go. And that area is called the ecliptic. Okay. So it kind of wobbles like that. And when it does, that's what wobbles on here. It's what creates the houses and all that sort of thing. Right.
Yes.
That being said, the day you were born, these slowly move like this. Okay. We read charts counterclockwise, but everything that's moving in them moves the other way, of course. So on the day you were born, it's like this. These slowly turn. And it goes through every sign every 2 hours, right? So at the moment you were born, Cancer was the constellation that was rising in the east. So that's why it's your rising sign. All right. That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
So, being a Cancer rising indicates a couple of things. First of all, it's a water sign, right? Meaning water signs, their baseline is emotion. And for Cancer, it's actually what we call a cardinal sign, okay? And there's 4 elements in astrology, and there's 3 modes, okay? So the elements are fire, which is passion, earth is structure, air is intelligence, and water is emotion. And this is rather important for you because your big 3 are in 3 different elements, right? Okay, so then how we know the action, because there's 3 of those element signs in a chart, right? How do we know the difference? That's where the modes come in because they give an action to that energy. So the cardinal signs are the initiators. They start off things, right? The fixed signs, the ones in the middle, they fix things. They adjust it, add their pizzazz. And then finally, the mutable signs, they finish things. So Cancer is a cardinal water sign, okay? Cancer also starts the season of summer. So all the cardinal signs start a season. All right. That's how we're based in this. It's solstice and equinox base. So here, there's your Cancer rising, which also means it rules the first house of self. Okay. So this is the playing field for self. Kind of makes sense. It's your first house. It's time for you to learn about yourself. That being said, you don't just go through your chart 1 through 12 and you're done. That's not how it works. It's more like a sounding board, if you will.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously, when you're first born, yeah, it's kind of generally, okay, self. You have to discover yourself first, right?
Yeah.
But as you learn new things, you may be at level 1 with those things until you get through level 12. More like a sounding board with different variations of how far you're in, right? So, I know it's a lot of info. Sorry.
No,
So,
I'm here for it.
okay, good. So because Cancer is the ruler of your first house of self, okay, the ruler is whichever sign is on the lead line of the house. So the beginning line of each of the houses, whichever sign is there, is the one that rules that house. So it gives all of its energy to it. The placements would add a focus to that, okay, if there were some in there. So this is your rising is your first impression. So how people first see you, and also how you first approach things, right? So people see you as kind of the caretaker, the nurturer, right? They want to just come and like lay on your bosom, and you just, that's the energy you give off, right?
Yeah.
And when you're approaching something new, you want to give it a chance. You don't want to just automatically dismiss it. If it's something new that you haven't seen before, you want to kind of nurture it into what it can be before you decide if you're going to keep it around in your self-realization or if it needs to go, if it's not useful for you, right?
Yes.
All right. So that means you have a deep emotional capacity to understand yourself.
Me?
Yes. And this is where that comes in, is a lot of people who have that think the opposite. Because
No, I'm such a feeler. It is, and I feel like that's, people see me as like, I'm a crybaby. That's my whole thing. It's like I cry.
but and that's what they see, right? Because they don't get to know the true you yet. That's the Taurus, right? That comes out. And what's interesting is sometimes when people have this nurturing thing, they'll feel like they're nurturing people too much, is what I was kind of getting at. And they feel like it's a bad thing. No, you're made for it. Do it. Snuggle all the babies that you need to snuggle, so to speak. By babies, I mean butches, femmes, whatever. Okay? All the folks out there. I mean, drag queens, whatever we got. So, hey, Amy, what's up? So here in the second house, okay, the second house is the house of value and security. This is Taurus's native house, okay? So security and value is big there. Now, what rules it for you is Leo, okay? So personality of Leo, a lot of folks, they think of Leo as being egotistical. Now, they're ruled by the sun, which is your ego, so that's where it comes from. But the ego for Leos is if you hurt it, okay? So if someone hurts your ego in some way, you may forgive them, okay? You will never forget it happened. They're on the list. It's there to be recalled when needed, if needed, okay?
Yeah.
And the other part of that, what the Leo thing that gets confused is that they want adoration, okay? It's not their ego. They crave adoration. So you want people to notice that you've done something for the right reasons, or because it's how it's supposed to be done at that moment. You don't mind people saying, oh, you look beautiful today. That's nice, right? But you hold value in them actually noticing the work you've put in, okay? And then, of course, you'll want to have your bath and snacks later. Now, that's just because that's Taurus in you anyway, right? Now we look at the third house here. The third house is right here, and it's your house of communication. So how you think and how you communicate, all right? Yours is ruled by Virgo, okay? So just speaking, I'm a Capricorn, so I'm an earth sign. You're Taurus, that's an earth sign. Virgo is the other one, okay? Now, I'm a cardinal. You're the fixed one because you add value and things like insecurity to structure, right? And Virgo is about the details and the perfection of
Mm,
structure, right?
mm,
So that comes into play when it goes about communicating. Now, that being said, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the planet of communication.
communication,
It
yeah.
also rules Gemini. So everybody that's like, doesn't Mercury rule? Yes, Gemini as well. But Virgo's the internal communicator and Gemini's the external communicator. Okay.
Ah, interesting.
So when it comes to what you're like, how you communicate and what you want to communicate, you want to make sure you've gotten all the details that you need to make sure what you're saying is correct.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's something like if it's a song or something, I can only imagine that it takes you a while before you're like, it's not right yet.
It's the
And sometimes you'll
understatement.
be able to write something in 5 minutes, right? But
Yes, yes.
you'll write it in 5 minutes and then take, I don't know, what's it been, 2017,
Yeah.
and then take about, I don't know, 7 years or so to finally get it out. Let's
Yeah.
go. All right. No, just kidding.
Yes, it's true. This last song, I mean, I wrote 27 different versions of it.
There we go. All
It
right.
took me 3 years to make one song.
All right. So
Virgo,
what
what?
that can indicate, folks, is basically you want it to be perfect. So it can delay your communication in some ways, right? But also, you're always trying to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay?
Yeah.
Including your emails and things like that. Sometimes it can be less time than it's worth. Now, I'm not saying to disregard it. It's work. If it works for you, it works for you, okay? But I'm just letting you know that don't be so hard on yourself.
It's not
Allow
working.
yourself to be a little more, you know?
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime. So now we're going to go to the fourth house, but let me change the little background here so we can see that. And the fourth house is still it's ruled by Virgo, isn't it? Let me double check because it doesn't look like it, but it does at the same time. Let me look on my little screen here to make sure because I can see it bigger. It's so close. Oh no, it is ruled by Libra. Okay, because
Okay.
I'm like I didn't include it here. So your fourth house is your house of home. Okay, so your domestic life, if you will, and what you can see here is that it's ruled by Libra, barely. Okay,
Hmm.
it's literally ruled by 1 degree. So whichever sign it hits, in this case Libra, rules that house. So Libra is wants balance. They want to find balance. They want fairness, right?
Hmm.
So when it comes to your home life, and this doesn't mean literally your house, but it can, it's wherever you feel at home.
Hmm.
You want things to be fair and balanced. You don't like to be in an atmosphere where there's people that have more control over other people. You've been there, done that, and you don't want that in your home life, right? Now you're an adult. You're at a level. You've gone through your Saturn return. You've done all these things where now you're like, these things don't serve me, and I don't want them here.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's a
but
good
it takes Libra a while to figure that out. So
one. Hmm.
there's some growing pains that happen at home because of that, because
That's
you're
true.
trying to find the balance, right?
Yeah.
Now it also is interesting because Libra, in the fourth house, having balance in your home can sometimes indicate that there's chaos at work because that's the opposite, but not in your case. And we'll talk more about that, why that is in a second here, or when we get around up there to the
Okay.
top. So the fifth house is your house of creativity and
Mm.
pleasure. Okay.
Mm.
And a couple of things. One is it's ruled by Scorpio. Okay. Now, Scorpio, we know them to be a little intense, right? They're a water sign, so they kind of have intense emotion. um, but they're also the emotional investigator. So they pride themselves on being able to see the differences in transformation and go, hey, what was that? I saw that. They're
Yeah.
also their energy is not believe them unless they prove you wrong. It's I do not believe you until you have proven I can believe you multiple times. Okay. So when it comes to your creativity, you're pretty private about it. You like to do the way that you like to do it. You're not necessarily asking for others' opinions on it unless you've given it to them. We'll just put it that way. But like you don't necessarily believe their opinions. There's probably a couple people that you may believe, but they've had to earn that. They've
Yes.
had to earn that respect. Okay. And on top of it, here's your first placement that we're going to be talking about, besides your rising sign, of course. This is Pluto. Okay. Now,
Mm.
Pluto is one of the generational planets. What
Mm.
that means
Oh.
is Pluto and actually Uranus and Neptune that are right here, they're all generational planets. And the reason why is people who are close to your age, within about 8 years or so,
Mhm.
they will have these planets in the same sign. Okay.
Right.
Like especially Pluto, because Pluto doesn't change for about 20 years. Okay. Now what that means is that people all like within your age range have Pluto and Scorpio,
Okay.
but they don't necessarily have it in the same house that you do.
Oh,
Okay.
I see.
So for your generation, the Scorpio Pluto generation, as I like to call them, this is that intense research into why things are being done the way they're being done, right? And it makes sense because you are a very you're like right at the you're like right at the beginning of Gen X, right? I think,
Yes.
or the
Yes.
end, right at the end. Sorry,
Yeah.
or the
And
beginning of
yeah.
millennial.
Millennial.
Beginning of
Yeah.
millennial. That's what you are. Because I'm an Xennial, so I'm like right in that weird 8 year area where we
Yeah.
grew up with technology and stuff. But
Mhm.
because you already know that stuff, and this is millennials in general, right? They're like, okay, well, what's going on out here? All right, we got a bunch of boomers telling us stuff. We don't know what's going on. These Gen Xers are crazy. They used to ride bikes without helmets. I don't know. So so your age group is like, okay, let's investigate what's going on here.
Yeah.
And your particular role is doing this transformation for your generation through your creativity and pleasure.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
So that,
That's so
like,
cool.
making music or whatever your creativity might, the spoken word in general,
Hmm.
right, is
Yeah.
itself an investigation
True.
into that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why that makes total sense for you there.
Wow.
Now, if we look up here to the sixth house, okay, the sixth house is your house of daily routines, your acts of service,
Yes.
okay. It's ruled by Sagittarius, but the main player besides Sagittarius is the ruler, so it says what goes on in your daily routines. Okay, it's like the captain of the ship, if you will.
Hmm.
But we are going to be talking a lot about the first mate on this one, okay? Because there's three placements in there. I'll go more into that in a moment. Let's
Okay.
explain what it means to have Sagittarius ruling your sixth house.
Okay.
So Sagittarius is the know-it-all sign, okay? And the reason why is because I'm a Capricorn sun, but I have lots of placements in Sagittarius. We don't talk about things that we don't know about.
Mm.
So that's how we come off as know-it-alls. You're talking about, hey, welcome to my team. Hey, you're talking about like these different kinds of things that I don't understand. I'm not going to say anything. If you're talking about playing the guitar in front of me, I'm going to be like, "Wow, that's interesting," and like want to learn, right? You're talking about astrology in front of me, I'm going to call out whether you're right, wrong, or whatever, right? And I'm
Yeah.
going to be right because I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So if you're ever arguing with Sagittarius folks, just a little, hint here. If you're still arguing with them after about a minute to 2 minutes, you're probably wrong. Okay, just let it go. Uh, and if you don't have actual experience or proof from the exact source, they're not going to believe you anyway. All right. So, that being said, that's kind of the energy you put into your daily routine. So, you want to experience a bunch of different ways to do things and see what works for you for your
Mhm.
daily routines. In fact, by experiencing things, educating yourself, your philosophies, and even your spirituality are leading your acts of service. Okay.
Mm.
But
Mm.
what's interesting here is that you have what we call a stellium, okay? And a
Mm.
stellium is three or more points in the same sign or in the same house, okay?
Mm.
And so you have three here, and they're all three in the sixth house, and they're also under Capricorn, okay?
Oh.
So,
Time. We're going
Yeah,
to do it my way, and it's going to be the
that's
best way,
right.
and it's the best.
Well, Capricorns are known for being the best at what they do. I'm sorry, not
Thank you.
sorry, whatever,
I feel
But
that way.
but they're about efficiency and effectiveness,
Mhm.
right? They're
Yes.
the people that this meeting could have been an email. I have things to do. You're wasting my time. Time is currency for
Yes.
Capricorns, okay? So that's why with Sagittarius ruling this, it's going to give you the best way to do things. The
Mm.
things that you know you have to get done every day, you're going to get real good at doing them as efficient and as effective as possible because you're experiencing a lot of different ways of doing it. And then Capricorn's like, all right, now how do we do that faster and better?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And so the first one of these placements is Uranus, which is actually the planet of rebellion, right? And
Mm.
also change. So you're like, all right, now that I've learned these daily routines, now that I know what people expect or even society expects
Mhm.
my daily activities to be, now I'm going to screw it up and see how you deal with that. And it'll be even better than what you thought. Why? Capricorn. Capricorn. That's why.
It's at 4 a.m. I do everything at 4 a.m. and it's very efficient because everybody's asleep.
That's exactly. Okay? It's either, look, you're either a morning Capricorn or a night Capricorn.
Yeah.
Okay? Most are mornings. I'm not going to lie. Okay? It's like to bed by 9, up at
No,
like 4 or whatever.
no,
Right?
I'm a night person. 10 p.m.
Yeah, me
rolls
too.
around. It's time to get shit done.
That's right. That's right. That's me too. It's like now nobody's going to be bothering me. We're good. Right?
Mhm.
No matter
Yes.
what you're doing in life. It's like, give me some silence for a minute. Time is money. Right? So there's also Neptune here, and Neptune controls your intuition and dreams.
Mm.
So part of what you would like to be doing, you can see a little bit of the unseen when it comes to your daily routines. So you're
Mm.
like coming up, like if my next album hits, I got to go on this tour, and this is what I would like it to be like. This is what I imagine it would be like. That's where some of this come from. Again, really efficient and effective at it.
Mhm.
Why? Capricorn.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then finally, the third placement you have here is Saturn. Okay. And Saturn is actually the ruler of Capricorn. Okay. So now we have this, it represents restriction, but also results. Okay.
Mm.
So you could be feeling restricted by other people's time frames,
Yes.
right? That's what that can indicate. But how you work through that is by, again, using your experience and your different understanding of your personal understanding of your daily activities. That's how you're going to be able to get the results you're looking for from that.
Okay.
Okay. You won't feel as restricted anymore.
Okay.
Now that's just as you go, right? Like
Okay,
as,
so just so I
yeah,
can make sense of it. Okay, so where the
yeah, go
dash
ahead.
line is hitting halfway through Sagittarius and halfway
Mm-hmm.
through Capricorn, does that mean that my sixth house has some Sagittarius in it, or is it?
Yeah, it's the ruler of it. That's what I
Oh,
was
okay.
saying. Like, so you're literally, Sagittarius is ruling this house, which gives all of its, like I was saying,
Oh, but
travel,
okay.
experience. Yeah, like philosophy, spirituality. That's Sagittarius energy. So it's ruling your sixth house of routine. So that's like your main thing that you want to work on, right? Is gaining
Oh, okay.
experience and
I see. I
understanding.
see.
Yeah. And then Capricorn is also in that house. It doesn't rule it, but because it has focus placements or things that are bringing focus to it,
Oh, okay. Okay.
especially a stellium, which brings more energy to that sign and in this case that house. So you have more focus on Capricorn's efficiency and effectiveness, as
Okay.
well as getting your daily routines completed in a
Cool.
timely manner, if you will.
I love it.
Um, and this one's next. Okay, so now we're gonna go. There's that sixth house, but here's the seventh house right here. Okay, and it's a little thinner here. So the seventh house hits right here. Capricorn rules your seventh house of relationships.
Mm.
So you want to be basically what that indicates is you want to be part of a power couple, right?
Yes.
But it also shows me that even if you're not, it's just as long as you don't step on each other's toes. You both can be
Mm.
bosses You
Mm-hmm.
just don't, you can't step on each other's toes. Because once that starts happening, it creates friction. And now they're screwing up your time and wasting your time. And that's not going to go for you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Capricorn is ruling your seventh house. Now, this is also not just romantic relationships, but long term relationships in general. So, like long term friends, family members, even coworkers or people that you work with in general. So, the same kind of thing. Like, you want to work with other powerful people. You
Yes.
like that. You're
Yes.
like, let's work together. Let's create or
Yeah.
establish some sort of structure on something together.
Yeah.
And you're going to want to be the efficient one of it, of course. But yeah. And then there is a little bit of Aquarius in there. And anytime I see this is an air sign, I know that's weird. Some people are going to freak out. It's not a water sign. It's a water bearer, but it's an air sign. Okay. So the unique intelligence is what it represents. And having that in here indicates that when you are in a relationship, it's not typical. And anytime I see air around the seventh house, you are not straight or cis, one or the other.
Really?
Yeah, it's like because air signs are so, it sounds weird, but they're fluid.
Yeah.
They kind of, I guess they go with the breeze. They go with the breeze, right? A
Mm-hmm.
lot of air stuff, they adopt things from people around them. They learn things from people around them, then they'll either keep it or get rid of it. So that's why they're kind of dual.
Interesting.
They have that dual side to them, you know,
Cool.
especially Gemini's. But that being said, right here in your eighth house, so here's your eighth house lead line. Aquarius rules your eighth house. Now, your eighth house is the house of transformation and rebirth. So having Aquarius rule that means that how you transform yourself is not typical to what
Mhm.
society thinks that you need to do to transform yourself. You have your own ideas of what that is.
Right.
And in fact, you're very altruistic in what you're trying to do with that, right?
Mhm.
So your relationships, like starting before we are already starting to do that, because you
Mhm.
want uniqueness in your relationships. You want it to be a little different. So when it
Mhm.
comes to your transformation, you're like, now I'm going to transform into a totally different ideal or even a person. Like, they say like everybody kind of updates every 7 years or so. You're like a totally different person, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's the case. But for you, when it comes to rebirth, it's unique. It's not going to be typical of what people think of. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you did this. Now you're at this level. You're like, that doesn't mean anything to me. I have my own time frame here,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially with that Taurus stuff. Trying to tell the Taurus what to do when they don't want to. So you must be very. Thank you all so much. All right, hold on. Woo! All right, good job.
Yay!
Uh, so we reached our live goal, is what it said there. So now we're going to go over here to the ninth house. So the ninth house right here is your house of experience, adventure, travel, higher education, philosophies, and of course spirituality. I know it's a lot in that one.
Mm.
And yours is ruled by Pisces.
Mm.
So Pisces is the oldest and wisest of the signs. All right, it can be a little flighty because it's kind of in its imagination. That's the point, right? So it's not as staunch and structured
Mhm.
as earth signs are, obviously, right? It has emotion to it because it's a water sign. But what it does is like it has the insight to see the unseen. It has the ability to focus on your dreams and even help you reach your dreams using your intuition. All
Mm.
right.
Wow.
So your intuition plays a big part
Yeah.
in what you learn and the experiences you have. And because of that, you want other people to be able to connect with you at that or share these experiences with other people because sometimes you don't believe it. It's so cool. So you
Mm.
kind of want to have somebody else there,
Yeah.
that little
Witness.
grounding voice. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to be a person; it can be a picture or
Yes.
something.
Hold
When
on
you
one
really
second.
have,
My dog is growling at me, and so
yeah, no,
she's
that's okay.
gonna have to. You're gonna have to leave. You lost your inside privileges here. Here you go.
Oh,
Come
bye,
on.
puppy. What's the puppy's name?
That's Georgie.
Georgie, that's so
Yeah.
cute.
She's like starting. I'm like, don't growl when I'm getting my astrology birth chart read.
Well,
Gorgeous.
maybe she was like, I don't want to hear any more of this. Get me out of here.
That's enough. She needs to work on
She's
her
like, that's
album.
enough right there. Where does it say give me walks and give me treats all the time? Where does it say that? um, I'll work on it, Georgie. I'll try to throw it in here, okay? So having the Pisces there indicates that you use your experience to chase your dreams, okay? And you have the ability to see some of the things that haven't quite actually been seen yet. Like they're not necessarily fully put together, but you can see it.
Yes.
You can see it already, right?
Yeah.
So that's what that indicates for you.
Cool.
Now, we're going to go to the next one. Okay, so now, here's the 10th house, and it looks like I didn't put it close enough, so we kind of are missing that 10th house there. I don't know why it did that. That's interesting. Do I have a different one? What the hell? All right, well, no, that's not it, obviously. Okay, so the 10th house is right here.
I can see. It makes sense.
Oh, man. But your MC isn't... Okay, hold on. Let me do this for a second. All right. Okay. So we're talking about right here, and then I'll zoom back in to talk about the rest of this stuff. I think, oh, that's what it was. I do have it. You know what? I did that because I wanted to show your stelliums. That's why.
Ooh.
Here we go. See? So I'll go back to that other one in a second when we get closer. But here's the 10th house right here. Okay. So the ruler of your 10th house is Aries. All right. Aries is the youngest zodiac sign. Okay. So they have very youthful energy to them. Now you have two placements in Aries. One is MC. Now MC stands for medium coli, which is Latin for top of the sky. Okay. But we also call it your midhaven. It's basically the highest point of your chart is a circle, but we flatten it to make it easier to read. So it's kind of the highest point. So it's your point of ambition. All right. And the 10th house in general is your ambition, achievements, goals that you're looking to try to achieve. Right. And so having Aries as your midhaven, this means you're like, well, let's try this. All right, now let's try this one. Well, try that one. Let's try this one now. All right. So, because Aries is like, they are a shotgun approach to things more than a sniper, if that makes sense. You know? So they, yeah. So they're like, they want to try, because they don't want to miss an opportunity.
Yes,
right?
That's me in everything. Like, I'm just like, turn over every stone. I want to try every marimba sound, every piano sound until I find the exact right sound.
A Baroomba sound? Is that what you just said?
A marimba, like any mallet instrument. I gotta try every preset.
She was speaking in highfalutin music talk there, and I wasn't sure what was just happening.
Elevated production language.
Again, Sagittarius. See how I have a lot Sag energy, and I'm just like, what? What's that? Because I didn't know. Instead of being like, what are you talking about? But now I know, and I learned from somebody who knows what they're talking about, and that's what's important. So as an Aries MC, you like to you don't want to have to you have impatience when it comes to finding what the next thing that you want to do is, right? So you're like, well, let's just try it. If it doesn't work, then we move on to the next one. But if it works, fine. And you will feel like you didn't do enough if you don't try all the things you think of.
Yes.
You're like, what if I missed it?
Yes.
What if the other one was better? You know?
Yes.
And that being said, you also have the moon in Aries, okay? And again, this is in your house of career achievements, goals, and things like that.
Whoa.
So your emotions, because that's what the moon represents, youthful energy to your emotions, but also quick action. So when it comes to working, you are attached to your emotions, right? And when something pisses you off enough, you might have something to say about it. I don't know if you all have heard any of Mary's music at all, but very outspoken, very, voice of the world, not just her own voice. And so that's where that kind of comes from there, because you're like, oh no, that pissed me off. Now we need to have a song about this. We need to talk about this or something.
So
I'm going to write a poem and post it right now. I don't know, but something's got to happen.
It's so real.
So yeah, that's your point. Now I can zoom in a little more here, because now we're going to go right here to the 11th house. Okay. The 11th house is ruled by Taurus. All right. So this is your sun sign, right? You probably know the most about Taurus. But Taurus in general, they are an earth sign, right? And they are the fixed earth sign. So they are always trying to add something to whatever Capricorn decided to come up with, right? So they're like, what's going on now? And your Capricorn parts are like, we're going to do this. And then Taurus is like, all right, I got you. Let's make it more secure and more valuable, right? So when it comes to this, what's interesting is Taurus actually rules your 11th house. Your 11th house is the social house.
Oh.
So how you interact socially with other people. Okay? And you can see there is a stellium here. Okay? Now, this one is a house stellium. Okay? Hold on to the question. If you want a reading from me, folks, go up there to the link to my page, and then click the link, my link tree, and you'll see the purchase options on my link tree there. Okay? Thank you for asking. Sorry, Mary.
No.
So right here, you can see that there's 4 placements in this social house. All right. So a lot of focus on your social interactions. Makes sense, right? For what you do. Like normally when I'm reading people's charts, I don't necessarily know what they do, but since I understand, I can even more correlate it here. But here is your sun sign, right? Your ego, the true self. All right. So socially speaking, once you're around like people that know you and you're hanging out with people that know you, then they get to see like the part where you're just chilling in your fuzzy pajamas with the feet on them, like with the feet, and you're just having like a snack and you're like watching your favorite show, and you just can hang out and like talk and like have a good time with people you know. That you find extreme value in, right? That's something you really value. And on top of that, your Venus is here. Now, Venus is what I call your bottom energy. But it's also like your surrendering energy, right? Like what you need. Well, you know.
That's so real. I get it.
But it is. That's what it is.
It translates.
Because it represents what you love, but also the vulnerability that you're willing to express, right? So for you, you need somebody that's high value. When you're looking for relationships, like you were just talking about before, like, or any kind of connections, you look for that value in it. And if they're not valuing you, they're not making your bubble bath and making your favorite dinner, then they're not worthy. Bye. Thank you. Next.
I love it.
And now we're gonna.
My partner's like making me a gourmet meal right now.
What's your partner sign?
They're a Leo sun. I never dated a Leo before, but they're a Leo sun, and then Virgo moon and Virgo rising, I think.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's much better for you than a Gemini. Just saying. Anyway,
Aries rising, and then Virgo moon. That's what it is.
Yeah, Leo.
Yes.
Leos in general, like I'm polyamorous, but my partner, my main girl, my nesting partner, my babe, my everything, really. She's a Leo, and I'm a Capricorn. And what's interesting is that Leos still have that work ethic that Earth signs have, but they just, again, they need adoration. You give them adoration, and they're loyal. They are so freaking loyal. They won't hurt anybody unless they try to hurt you, and then they will rip their face off. That's a Leo. So, like, you know. But yeah, as I was saying, much better than a Gemini. Mary knows what I'm talking about. And so
I'm like, a Gemini cheated on me? No way. How?
I have no idea. I would wonder why. Let me see here. Especially with, oh no, a Gemini Venus as well. What are you thinking there? What? You know what? That's all right. Now you have me. So you just ask. If you need helps with the new partner, ask me. I can help you guys figure out how to work through stuff together. But and if we had this reading earlier, I would have afterwards said, "Hey, can we talk?" Um, sorry. Anyway, the Gemini in Mary's chart is still in the 11th house here. So there's still that 11th house stellium that's giving all this energy to social. But these two placements, a little different. And they're in Gemini, okay? So Taurus, while it's looking for security and value, Gemini is an expressive sign. They are external thinkers, communicators, processors, the whole thing, right? And so when it comes to social atmosphere, you either feel like you're talking too much or not enough sometimes, because this is Mercury, which is your planet of communication.
Yeah.
So you're quite good at it. And when you're socializing, you don't have a problem doing it. But then sometimes you'll have these tinges within yourself, like, maybe I need to shut up or like whatever. That's normal for Geminis to feel. Most of the time, I would say if you have a Gemini placement or you're a Gemini and you have the feeling like, ooh, maybe I should shut up, that's probably the case.
Okay.
Now,
Good to know.
no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I love you, Geminis. Mostly. You just have to know that they're a little bit of a BSer, okay? Like, that's it. That's all. You show them how to cook on a gas stove. The next day, they're giving a TED talk on how to cook on a gas stove. That's a Gemini's energy. All right. Again, air sign. They take things from people. All right. So, when it comes to communication, you're very fun. The Gemini's fun. They're about fun. Let's have a good time. Right. Sometimes you're like woohoo, real talkative, and sometimes you're really quiet. Just depending on your mood overall. That's where that shows up there. But the other one that you have here, the other placement, this is Jupiter. And Jupiter is how you expand. It's also your luck.
Ooh.
So you happen to get quite lucky socially. Either people you meet, or the way you meet people, or how you interact with people. Like, I don't know, like, Madonna coming on stage and singing with you, or like weird things like that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And every time it happens, it helps you to expand. Helps you grow as a person.
That's huge.
So, and because it's in Gemini, there's still that duality to it, right? The communicator, and then sometimes silent. I'm just going to soak up this story and then tell it to everybody later.
It's
right?
real.
You're either talking or you're absorbing to tell later in that case.
Yes.
Now, when we come to the 12th house, and let me go back to the other one now, because now I got this cut off again right here.
Secrets.
Okay, so right here, Gemini is the ruler of your 12th house. So that means you do have duality when it comes to your intuition and your dreams. So you may go back and forth on like, should I just do the music thing and not do the poetry thing? Or should I do the poetry thing and not the music thing?
Yep. Yeah.
No, do them both.
Yeah.
Because, hello. Not to mention, like, Gemini is a communicator. So your intuition and your dreams are focused on the best ways to communicate.
Yeah.
And get what you want out there. So sometimes it is a song. It needs the music behind it. And sometimes it's just your words, right? And also in here, under the sign of Cancer, is Mars. This is your top energy. You know what I'm saying? So this one is what you want to be in control of, okay? What your drive is leading you. And because it's under Cancer, your emotional capacity is what drives you. So what you have the emotional capacity to put out is what comes out. So that's probably why we haven't heard from you in a little bit, and music-wise, because you were dealing with other things that were taking up that space, your emotional space that you need in order to release that. So now that you've had a release from some of those things, always working on it, right? It's not ever just one person or one thing in life.
Yeah, totally.
And anybody who knows your story knows you've gone through many a battles and come out on the other side. That's why your voice is so important. for other people, in my opinion, because I feel like, again, you have experience that you're putting out there, and then we can relate to it. Direct experience. That's my Sagittarius stuff speaking, I guess.
That's so cool.
But yeah, and I did a couple other ones just out of curiosity, placements. They're not up here right now, but because of the things that you've been through, I wanted to look up your Chiron. Okay,
Oh yeah, my
so
wounded healer.
yes, and also like basically your childhood wounds that you're
Yeah.
learning to heal in this lifetime. So yours happens to be in Cancer. So it's
Mhm.
actually in Cancer, in the 12th house. It's like right there, right next to this. And and what that means is basically you're really good at celebrating the ordinary to be extraordinary.
Mhm.
Okay? That's really good for your partner, by the way. They'll like that. See? So, because that sounds like something Leo would love. But you personally, the reason why it's still a wound for you and what you work on when you help others is is that you have guilt for underperforming, for like not performing
Mm.
at the top of something, which is not necessarily true. That's your wound. That's how you
Yeah.
feel it might be. And
Yeah.
as you start helping others, just remember to include yourself into that healing as well.
Mm.
And then the more you do that, the more, the Chiron's working out and you're healing it, if you will. Um,
Yeah.
and I also looked up your North Node because that's your destiny. The lunar nodes, folks, North Node and South Node, there's always two of them. They're exactly 180 degrees from each other. Your North Node is your destiny, okay? Your South Node is your past life, all right?
Ooh.
Not to be confused with MC, which is your ambition, not destiny, okay? And your IC, which we don't talk about that much, but it's on the fourth house, right? Cusp of the fourth house. That's your roots, where your family and where you've grown from, all
Mm.
right? Not your past life. So, that being said, for you, your North Node is in Pisces. So, you're
Ooh.
going to want to understand your destiny, right? You want to know where you're going. That's
Yes.
that's what it's true. The intuitiveness, right? And this is all based on the fact that in your past you were very work oriented because you
Mhm.
had Virgo energy back then,
Mhm.
right? So Virgo energy back then would have given you, like, you have insightfulness of how to have structure, but now you're learning to use that structure as a stepping stool to go
Yeah.
towards your destiny, which is, intuitive dreams, if you will.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's in the eighth house, it means it's you do this through different layers of transformation. That's the house of transformation.
Mm.
And where you got that from was finding value in what you were doing. Because the
Mhm.
opposite of that is where the south node is the second house. Okay.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's what that kind of means. So yeah, there you go.
Whoa, that's so cool. Wait, so
Yeah.
what's the south one? What's the south one in?
The south one is, oh yeah, because Pisces. The south one would be, and for you, second house is, oh, Leo. Oh no,
Oh.
Virgo. I meant Virgo.
Oh,
Virgo.
okay.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Virgo. I'm like, what are you doing, Dad? Yeah, Virgo. So it would be exactly the opposite because they're always exactly 180 degrees. So if your north node is here, as an example, it would your south node would be like right there
Oh, I see. Okay.
because they're always straight
Cool.
across from each other. So yeah. So that's a reading. Again, I can go over some other things if you would like, or if you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask. But if you don't, and you can also DM me if you have questions you don't want to ask out here. But I would like you, if you have questions, fine. But otherwise, tell us what's going on and what you would like people to look out for, how you want people to support you. Please let them know.
Oh, thanks, Deb. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
this is so sick. I always want to know, like, I feel like it's very sparse. Like it's very sparse in between like the first and fourth houses. And I'm like, does that mean that there's something missing? Because there's
No,
no
in fact,
placement.
that's a common question. That's one of the most common questions I get asked. That's
Mm.
why you have the sign that rules that part of your life.
Hmm.
Because these are simply just a focus. There's more than 20,000 placements you can turn on.
Stressful.
Yeah, so we don't do all those. That's a little much. But yeah, it doesn't. It's just where those planets were, what constellation they were in when you were born. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, where they happen to be. So, yeah, it's
When
your
you're
particle
looking,
entanglements with those particles.
when you're looking for compatibility between signs and you
Mm-hmm.
like maybe layer a chart on top, like what are you sort of looking for? Like
Yeah, no, that's a great
a
question.
balance or like stuff kind of together?
Not too much together,
Mm.
more of a balance. Some things together, some things opposite, actually,
Mm-hmm.
are kind of the best compatibility that I've seen. Now, everybody's different, okay? Because your compatibility is not just based on your sun sign, obviously, right?
Yeah.
In fact, I did this thing called Find Your Match, where it's only $20 too, and it's just for fun, really. But I ask you 5 multiple choice questions, and each of those relates to a placement. Now, you don't necessarily know which one, right? But your answers that you give me tell me what you're looking for. A lot of people cut certain signs out automatically because they've had a
Yeah.
bad experience with them. Well, now they don't know which sign they're telling me they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I send them back 3 of their perfect astrological matches and the days that they were born, because that's just fun.
That's so
But
cool.
but when I'm looking at a synastry chart, which is exactly what you said, it's where you take another person's chart and lay it on top, and then
Mm-hmm.
we match you up by the signs. Okay, so your signs are all on top of each other, and like
Mm-hmm.
this is your individual chart,
Mm-hmm.
but this is what we look at in synastry, because these aspects, which show us the relationship in this case in your chart between your different focus points, but
Mm-hmm.
in a synastry chart, they show us the relationship between you and another person.
Ah.
Okay, so each of these aspects has an energy to it, which can kind of help you understand what that means.
Mm-hmm.
But in like soulmate connections that I've seen, it's usually a little bit different, and then some stuff that's the same. Again, it seems like it's important to have your individuality in every relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and that the other person understands that
Mm-hmm.
by understanding who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good for you to better understand who you are, right?
Yeah, true.
But not step on each other's toes. So,
Mm.
like, something as little as I despise taking out the trash, and your partner's like, I don't care. I'll take it
Yeah.
out every day if you want me to. That's a tiny little thing, but it's something that is good for your relationship because they don't care, and now you don't have to do it, right?
Yes.
So that's how that perfect part of that can come up for sure. But if there's too much that's the same, this is a good time to talk about this, okay? That could mean that you are a twin flame with that person. This is
Mm.
different than a soulmate. Twin flames are not who you want to be with, okay?
Whoa.
Twin flames are actually the same soul split in half, okay? So when you are together, if you've watched Queer Ultimatum season 2,
Mm-hmm.
if you're Haley and Megan, you're twin flames, okay? Literally put that out there. You can see that when I have their charts side by side, there's almost like 6 of their placements are the same. It's crazy.
Whoa.
So sometimes when people like that get together, they tend to tune out the rest of the world, which is not
Mm.
good because the rest of the world,
Okay.
you're living in it.
Yeah.
And they tend to like be very by themselves and kind of ignore everybody and everything else. So
Yeah.
it's not good to be in the twin flame. Now,
Mm-hmm.
soulmates, you have a ton of them, and they're not all just romantic connections.
Mm-hmm.
They can be, your family, your friends. It's your soul group,
Yeah.
right? You have like kind of a soul group that you travel through different ventures, and maybe not even a meet suit. I don't know what else we go into, but the different dimensions of life, whatever
Yes.
you want to call it, is what you experience. So, yeah, it just depends on the people, and it depends. We don't know your little idiosyncrasies, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But once you move in together, you start to learn those more, and then to
Yeah.
see how it works.
That's so
You're Cancer rising, so you're probably a little touchy about people moving stuff around in the house without talking to you about it first. But
called out. Yeah, my partner and I just moved in together, and I'm like, that's our thing. That's gonna be our thing. Is that this was put in the basement and it should not have been put in the basement.
exactly. Because
You know,
Cancers, they're the crabs. They're in their home. They're like, this is my shell.
I
Figure
know.
it
And I
out.
feel like, and the Taurus nature is like, it needs to be beautiful. It needs to be like
Yep, they're also
comfortable.
the home body. Like I want my this is my palace. Okay, this is my sanctuary, and it
Hmm.
needs to be as such. So
Okay,
don't mess with my bath soaps. Okay.
legit. Here's something that I thought was really interesting when I met my partner. Okay, first of all, we met the night of a full moon, and we're exactly 3 months apart to the hour. Like, I don't know if that means anything. I guess you'd have to see the chart.
Yeah, you know what? Just DM me
Yeah.
like their info, and then I'll talk to you about it. I'll tell you the goods that I see it in.
Because I do, like, we have a
Because
really good sense of, like, home together. Like, I feel like that's how I felt when I met them. I was just like, oh, I feel so like comforted, safe, home, like stable.
what day was it that you met?
It was March 25th.
Okay, so that's Taurus season, right? No, Aries season, Aries
Hmm.
season, which means that the full moon at that time was in Libra.
Mm.
So that full moon is about balance, new
Mm.
beginnings with balance,
Cool.
right?
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah, no,
so neat.
yeah, you can see full moons in your natal chart. You can see new moons in your natal chart as well. So if the sun and the moon are have this blue line, basically like this, if this was the moon, that would mean that you were born on a full moon.
Cool.
And if you're born on a new moon, it's right next to it.
Well,
And
neat.
then if you turn your nodes on, those lunar nodes I was telling you, north node and south node, if one of them is by your sun or moon, you were born on an eclipse.
That's freaky. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
There's
too
a bunch of stuff
amazing.
you can tell from birth charts. And I just like learned this as I was going, and I'm like, whoa. And then how do I back that up? What's the fact behind that? So
That's
as
so
much as you
cool.
can in something like this, you know what I mean?
I am interested. I wanted to look up my solar return, and every time I look it up, I can't, if I'm looking for my solar return 2025,
Mm-hmm.
is that my birthday of this past year, or is that my birthday from 2025 to 2026?
It would be if you whatever day you put in, it's going to take where the stars are from on that day. So if you put in your birthday 2025, it will be back when it was your birthday of this year. So
Okay,
if
and
you
it would
want
be
to
like,
do a future one, then you would do 2026 would be your next birthday, and then you can see what it looks like. But those are like transition charts and things like that because
okay.
your birth chart never changes. The
Yeah,
transitions, like what's lining up with what in the current sky, totally changes. Yeah,
yeah.
that's kind of more what you're talking about. And returns in general, folks, are when the planet turns back to the same spot it was when you were born. So you have your solar return every year, right?
Yes.
That's your birthday. Saturn return is every 28 years or so because it takes 2.5 years to go through each of these signs. So
Wild.
it takes a minute. um, and for those of you that have it in Pisces, no, sorry, Aries right now, Saturn and Aries. I mean, yeah, Saturn and Aries, you're going through your Saturn return, little babies. Because this is what, 98? 96 to 98, I think, is the people born from 96 to
Oh, are
98 are in
having
their
their Saturn
Saturn
return.
return right now. Yeah. Just
Oh,
little wee babies.
cute.
What am I saying? You're a little wee baby too, really. Um, I'm
Thank
just
you
old, that's all.
so much, Deb. This has been awesome. Yeah, and
Yeah.
everybody, you can follow me. I'm at Mary Lambert Sing, and I have a new song out called The Tempest. And I'm working on my album, and I run a workshop about body positivity. I mean, it's like,
Yes.
it's not really about body positivity. It's more like, how do I feel better about myself? You know, like, I guess
Mm-hmm.
that's what body positivity is that. But that actually starts in like this Sunday, and it goes for 4 weeks, and that's
Wow.
called Everybody is a Babe. And that's
All right.
that.
So get over there and sign up because it's almost sold out or something. I don't know what's
Yes,
going
it's
on. Get
almost
over there.
the deadline. I don't, whatever that time is. But it's funny when you're talking about like I wanted trying a bunch of different things. I feel like that's been my whole career because there's so much that I like to do and there's so many things and ways that I want to help people and connect with people. And so like it's the workshop and it's the album and it's all of that. So it really resonates.
Well, I'm looking forward to whenever the new album comes out, Mary. Whenever. Okay?
I'm in my designated tinkering phase right now.
I'm gonna go look at your transitional charts right now and find out when it's gonna come out. I better start in like 2030 and go backwards from there.
Please tell me. I would love to know. I could just start saying it's gonna be out on this date and then I have to
That's what you do. Yeah, your Virgo parts will freak out. Oh my God, what did you do to us?
Yeah, actually, Deb, will you tell me when I should release my album?
Look, it should be next year. Maybe you should release it on your birthday.
Sick.
So maybe when you go to do your transition, just keep going and see when things look just right with your communication or your Jupiter.
Okay.
So these two right there, when they're being like a lot of stuff's glowing towards those, definitely a good time.
Okay, good.
All right.
We did it.
We did it. Look, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. Fellow Cornish grad too, which is really cool. I'm like, hey, fellow Cornish grad, as soon as I saw that. I mean, so people, let me tell you who else has graduated from Cornish besides Mary that also has an amazing voice. Do you know who I'm going to talk about here?
Who?
From the band Heart.
I didn't know she went to Cornish.
Yeah, Anne from the band Heart. So the lead singer of Heart. What's their last name? Why can't I think of it right now?
Wilson.
Anne Wilson went to Cornish. She graduated from Cornish as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So there's a few on there. I haven't put myself on, the Wikipedia page? I need to sign up so I can put myself in there.
Good.
I'm like, why am I not on here? I should be on here.
Yes, you should. I'm glad you did.
No, I haven't done it yet. I'm not doing that. That's crazy. Okay? I can't do that.
I support it.
Well, now I can. If Mary Lambert supports it, I can do it. Right? You heard it here. So I will be reposting this on my YouTube. So if anybody has missed it or anything, they get to see it. Or if you want to go back and look, she was saying something about this. Let me go back and look. You'll be able to do that. Probably won't be till later today or even tomorrow morning, but it'll be up. All right. So stay tuned for that. And folks, for my next live reading, not next week, but the week after, Megan from Queer Ultimatum. So have you watched it? Have you watched it?
Yes, I'm obsessed with the show.
I already did Kyle and Bridget. I talked to them live already. Megan is not next week, but the week after. And then after that is Marita. So stay tuned for those two. They're going to be on. Otherwise, catch me weekly when I'm doing my Learn Astrology, where I walk you through a different chart so you guys can see what it's like. And I do readings, so make sure you're checking out the services I provide up there. Go to Mary's website, check out all the things, sign up for the what is it, a class?
My workshop.
Class? The workshop. Go sign up for the workshop. It's almost sold out. Okay? We don't have orange glitter and a door dropping or anything, but it's over there. So just go. Speaking of, where did some people left right at 4:00? I saw it. I saw people. They're like, wait, it's Taylor Swift time.
God damn it.
You know what? That's the only thing I have to request for you is just don't put out an album anywhere near when Taylor Swift puts out an album, and you're fine. Yeah.
I think that's good advice.
Or get Taylor Swift on your album.
I will do that. It's very easy.
She's a Sag. She's sassy. All right. And she's got a Cancer moon. So, I'm serious. You guys would probably write the most heartbreaking, funky song ever.
I had a dream she came out to me, and I was the only person that she could tell that she was bisexual too. And I said,
don't get the girls going. Don't start.
She
We're
did.
gonna get the
Her and
Gaylors
Billie
going.
Eilish. I had a dream like not 10 years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, that Billie Eilish came out to me at a festival, and I was like, it's gonna be okay.
See, you just I don't know. That's that Pisces. That's that Pisces and that rebirth house or their experiences. What? And then it happens. Well, Taylor hasn't yet,
Yeah.
but yeah. But she's probably at least bisexual. I'll give the Gaylors
I
that.
mean,
Okay.
you can't be born in 1989 and not be at least bisexual.
That's the rule. By the way, Mary was also born in 1989. So that's great. All right. Well, speaking of that, I better go before my girlfriend has a heart attack.
Okay.
First of
Yeah.
all, she loves you. She was on here. She's like, oh my God. When I
Oh,
told
hi,
her, she was
girlfriend.
like, her name's Ty, by the way.
Hi,
And she was like, I'm sorry, who? And I told her. And I'm like, okay, listen. Just she's like, that's awesome. And she just was so excited.
Ty. That's so
Um,
sweet.
but she's also a Swiftie, so I'm sure that she's just bursting at the seams to come into this room and tell me all the things that just happened. I don't even need to know. I'll find out. That's why it's good to have a young partner, because I'm pretty old. She's quite a bit younger than me, and she keeps me up to date with the cool stuff.
That's good.
I think. I don't know. Anyway, again, thank you so much for being on here. And go to Mary's website. I know you can get to it from both TikTok and Instagram on those two social medias, as well as just typing in Mary Lambert's website, and check out the things that she's offering and the upcoming stuff, as well as listen to The Tempest. I promise you're going to like it, and then you're going to be jamming out, scream singing it. I'm telling you. It happened to me. I didn't know it was going to happen. And it happened. All right?
Big Scorpio energy in that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thanks,
100%.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much. Goodbye. Everybody take care of yourselves. Look out for each other. All right? I love you all. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.